What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing away from HackMyVm. This is a block sort about easy. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. So I'm going to start by splitting my terms here. I'm still running gain that's covered minus R 10.0.0.1/24/IT0. Doing this, we do copy the box 10.0.0.34. So do Control Shift Z, so we're doing MM scan. So do MM minus SC for default scripts, minus SC for the machine, also kind of ports on the IP. Doing this, I'll do minus verbos. Looking at the ports, we do port 8 pin 4 HTTP and also port 22 pin 4 SSH. Some servers in port 80. Look at this, we do have a login as Tula, and we also do have a algorithm here, which is a different type of algorithm for 825519. By default, we do have RSA, but later on we can start by doing research. But for now, I'm going to start by doing some more immersion using GoBuster. So do GoBuster dirt mode minus U into the IP address. We'll do minus W for slash user share or list or buster directory list. We'll do extensions as HTML, TXT, and also tree. Looking back at the ports, we do port 22 pin for SSH. This is open SSH for Debian. Port 8 pin for HTTP. This is running NGINX 1.18.0. Looking back at the GoBuster, we do index HTML. Seems like that's about it. Look at this, I'm going to start by doing some research on this ED25519. So I'm just going to search up generate keys and see what we do have here. So I'm just going to go to his Medium page here. Look at this, we'll do Control F. So here we do have different type of algorithms here, which we do have DSA, RSA, EC, DSA, and also ED25519. By default, we do have RSA, which is 3072. So do SSH as keygen. We do see that we do have RSA 3072, which is this one right here. RSA 3072. Let's see what else we do have on how to output this. So look at this. We do have a private key that can be generated, and also a public key, which can be outputted to ID_ED25519, which is for the public key, which does have the .pub, and also the private key, which that does not have the pub, right? So I'm just going to visit this. It does seem like this is a valid file on the server. So I'm just going to get this. I'm cat ID. Look at this. We do have SSH-ED25519 instead of RSA. Also do have my passphrase. The clock is ticking. I'm also going to be checking for that private key, which doesn't have the .pub. I'm just going to get this. I'm just get. We'll cat the ID. And here we do have the private key. So I'll do chmod 600 for ID. I'm also SSH into Tula at 10.0.0. We did have the IP address 10.0.0.34. So 34 my side for ID. And is asking us for a passphrase. So I'm just cat this ID_pub. We do have the passphrase right here. We do ID. And now we're under Tula. So I'm starting running a sudo -l. Looking at this, it does seem like we run a user bin webhook with Tula. So doing this, if you don't know what a webhook is, it's basically just a server that's running that doesn't let us run a command on the right, or let us run a file. In this case, we can run this as Lua. So instead of running just a command or some type of script, I'm just going to run a reverse shell and become the user Lula. By default, we do have this running as 9000 /hooks. So if I do run a mmap scan on 10.0.0.34, you do see the idea of port 9000 listening on CS listener, which is that webhook. So I'm cding to temp. I'm going to now to hooks.json. I'm going to start by searching for web. We'll search up Linux command. Look at this repository. We do have this repository is going to help us create that hook that we're talking about. So here we do have this tool's ready to go, which basically has HTTP endpoints, which those are the hooks on the server, and we can be used to be executed configured commands. Looking at this, we do have let's scroll down here. We do have our hooks.json. I'm going to start by copying this, put this into our hooks.json. Here we do have ID, which can be for redeployable webhook. This redeployable webhook is going to be the directory that we do visit to execute the script. Here I'm going to specify dev shm, which is going to be for the execute.sh, which is going to be for the reverse shell. Here I'm just going to put this under /temp, which is world writable, and I'm just going to make a directory for webhook. So I'm going to do mkdir for webhook. Now we do have our hooks.json. we're going to be executing for dev shm. So I'm just going to cd into /dev shm. I'm going to nano into execute.sh. I'm starting by specifying bin/bash here. I'm just going to go to rev shell. I'll do Control F for temp. Copy this, put this in here. We'll do 10.0.0.69 on port 9001. If this reverse shell doesn't work, then we can start by doing a bash reverse shell. But this is the reverse shell I usually commonly use. I'm just cat this execute.sh. We'll do chmod 777 for execute.sh. We'll do chmod +x for execute.sh. I'm cd into temp. So down we do have our hooks JSON. So we do have ID, which could be for the directory that we do have, which we're going to visit to execute our execute.sh. We also do have dev shm or execute.sh, which is under this directory. We do have our temp or for the webhook. So looking down here, we can start by doing verbose. We'll use -hooks for hooks JSON. So do sudo -l. So do sudo, run this as lula for user bin webhook. We'll specify -hooks for hooks JSON -verbose. Now we do have this on 9000. So I'm just going to copy this, put this into here. We'll just change this to the server, which is going to be 10.0.0.34. 10.0.0.34. We can start my listener here. So do all wrap net cat HackMyVm on 9001. Press enter on that. We do ID, and now we're under Lula. So I'm going to start by exporting my term. Is equal to xterm. We'll start by running a bin/bash -i. We do ID. Now we're under Lula. So doing this, I'm see if there's any SSH keys in here, which there isn't. So I'm going to make a directory for Lula. We'll cd into .ssh. I'm just going to, we'll do mkdir for keys. We'll cd into keys. So we'll do ssh-keygen. So copy from root .ssh id_c to his directory, and also we do have the .pub. So I'm cat this id_c.pub. I'm just copy this, put this in our text editor. So do echo, put this in here. So we'll do authorized _keys, put this in here. Now we can put this under the .ssh for Lula. Now we do have our authorized _keys. So do chmod 600 for authorized _keys. Now we do have authorized _keys. So we do have that private key for the public key. So SSH into Lula at 10.0.0.34. We'll do -i for ID_same. We'll do ID. Now we're under Lula. So I'm going to start by running a lint piece. So I'm just going to dev this. I'm cd into dev shm. We're just going to get HTTP 10.0.0.69 on port 8021. We're going to be getting that lint piece.sh. I'm just going to cancel all this. I'm cd into my documents. We're going to privilege escalation. I believe this is a new lint piece. Do Python 3 -m http.server on port 8021. We're going to be getting that lint piece.sh. So I'm just going to do chmod +x for lint piece. We can run that lint piece and I'll put it to a file.txt. Doing this, I'm just going to let this run and see what we get. Alright, so this is taking too long, so I just cancel this and I'm just going to more into file.txt. It does seem to be finished, but it's taking, when the piece does take too long, I do tend to cancel it. I'm not trying to wait through the whole period, right, of the scan. So looking at this, right now I'm just looking for anything that is in red or in yellow. So it doesn't seem like we do have anything so far. So here we do have a user bin more, which does have capabilities. It does have the read_search capability. Maybe we can read files with more. We also do have a user bin more, which is readable files belonging to root and also readable by me. So it does seem like we can use user bin more to read files. It's basically just the more command. If I more into file.txt, you'll see that I can read that file. So I'm going to be doing user bin more since we're allowed to read files, right, from root. So I'm just going to do /etc shadow. It does seem like you read the shadow file. Instead of reading through the shadow file, I'll be checking for SSH keys. So do .ssh. We did have this the private key, right? Since we did have keys generated by ed25519. So do that. This seemed like we do have a private key, so I'm just going to copy this. We'll just put this in here. We'll do mkdir for root-ssh. We'll cd into root. We're just going to vn to id_sa for the private key. Right quit. We'll do chmod 600 for id_sa. So there's two ways we can do this. We can start by checking for the public key, which we can just do .pub, which it does seem like there's a .pub. You don't have to do this step. So if you do SSH into root at 10.0.0.34, we'll do -i for id_sa. You do see that the public key was on there. So this wouldn't work if the public key was on here, but since we can log in, that means we did have a public key. If I cd into .ssh, you do see that we do have the id_sa, which for the private key. We also have that .pub, clear my terminals, and we can root.txt. Well guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and now catch you guys in the next one. Peace.